5:24 a.m. You can clearly see the fire start, and then somebody walks out of the residence and leaves in that vehicle.
I knew immediately that the fire had been started. That's what's going to cause that, a flash. It's not a light turning on and off.
Chris!
I need you to get away from the house to make sure you're at a safe distance, okay?
Yeah.
The whole house was engulfed. Once they made entry into the residence, they discovered a body in the living room.
This guy has got a metal spike sticking out of his neck.
The amount of force, the damage this would do was just horrible.
Police in Greeley have identified the man found dead in a burning home, 35-year-old Chris Dickerson. They're trying to figure out who killed him.
The only thing I could tell about him was two large females. You could not see faces, you couldn't see anything else than just their general shape.
Detective Burrows was lead. It's on him, and didn't give up.
And as I start looking at surveillance footage, I'm like, oh my gosh, I had my two suspects.
I remember asking how did you eat, lick his blood? She wrote his blood tasted dirty, dirty.
Your wife is in a bar, you said she's unresponsive?
This is what he's going to tell you. How to get out of that situation.
And I grabbed the gun.
Trying to find the first place to put a body.
No, sir. The only thing they could do was kill him.
You want to say anything?
We, the jury, and to find the defendant.
What is the address of the emergency?
Now there's a house on fire.
Okay,
I think there's someone in there.
Okay.
You need to get the firemen here.
They're coming as fast as they can, okay? What makes you think that someone's inside?
Because there's a dog barking and there's a car in this place. Man, you got to get the fire department.
Okay.
Please.
The caller was a neighbor on his cell phone as he tried to alert the person inside.
Do you know the people that live there?
I just know Chris. The guy's name is Chris that lives here.
Okay.
Chris!
We see him standing there on the front door, pounding on the front door. The window fails. Fire just blows out the front window. He comes tumbling off the porch.
And he was yelling for Chris, and once the fire really started going, you can hear him audibly yelling for Christopher.
I need you to get away from the house to make sure you're at a safe distance, okay?
Yeah. Chris! Here they come. I see the lights. Here's the police.
When fire crews arrived on scene, the whole house was engulfed. Most of the fire was in the front part of the house, so the living room area and the kitchen area were completely decimated. Once they made entry into the residence, they discovered a body in the living room.
They took me inside and showed me exactly where the body was located, in the position that the body or the victim was in. So at this point, it could be an accidental fire. It could be an intentional fire. The victim, why didn't they escape the fire? And there's a whole lot of unknowns.
We spoke to neighbors and we learned that Christopher Dickerson lived there at that time. He was really loved by his family. He was a big animal lover, so I learned from the family. Obviously his dog Juno was a big animal in his life. Had a lot of longtime friends and was able to meet people very, very quickly, and he was very agreeable. From everything I could tell, Christopher had no enemies. 2 days after the homicide, I was starting to get in surveillance footage. And one of the key things was we actually saw a vehicle arrive at the house and somebody walk in, and then you can clearly see the fire start, and then somebody walks out of the residence and leaves in that same vehicle.
I knew immediately that the fire had been started. That's what's going to cause that, a flash like that. It's not a light turning on and off.
And the medical investigators were able to call the detectives and say, this guy has got a metal spike sticking out of his neck.
It made you hurt just thinking of that file with the abrasive edges being pushed into your very neck and the bones, and the amount of force, the damage this would do was just horrible.
You add that with seeing that the fire intentionally set and everything was leaning towards this was going to be a homicide.
Christopher had spent the earlier part of Saturday evening in downtown Greeley.
Downtown's the place to be if you're going to go out on a Saturday night. It's kind of where the party is. It's where you have the booze, you have the fun.
He first went to a local bar, which was called The Box. That was just after midnight that he arrived downtown. So I eventually see Christopher arrive at Cubetta's, which is another local bar, at about 12:46 a.m. I was able to get 2 very short, brief videos from talking to employees that just show him standing there.
I think, if anything, he was just maybe a little lonely, looking to make human connection, you know, going out to the bars, trying to meet people.
And then from there, he goes to another bar called Roasties. And he arrives at Roasties about 1:32 a.m. and he's there until the bar closes, essentially. And then from there, Christopher leaves.
Now, a key moment caught on tape as a car pulls up as Christopher is walking towards his car.
It's a silver Malibu. I saw that it had dark tinted windows and that the rims or the wheels were 5-spoke. There's the briefest of interactions between Christopher and the passenger side of this Malibu. You could see that the Malibu's front passenger window is slightly down. And he doesn't stop walking. He looks at the vehicle, gives a slight head nod, and then continues walking by.
Detectives later learned there were 2 women in the car who asked Christopher if he knew of any after parties.
Christopher says he doesn't know of one, but that he's got beer back at his place. And then from there, they go and follow him. And I can see the Malibu driving towards the same location as Christopher. And then one of the last places we see Christopher downtown as he walks by a storefront, I'm able to see taillights of the Malibu also pass through that window. So I know that the Malibu's caught up to Christopher and is following him now.
About 10 minutes later, both cars arrive at Christopher's home.
He pulls in and he pulls into his driveway and then into his garage. The Malibu is following thereafter, very, very close proximity, and it pulls into the driveway. What you can tell is Christopher gets out of his vehicle and goes up to the driver's side door of the Malibu, and there is what looks like some sort of interaction taking place for several minutes. Eventually, the Malibu, the lights are turned off, and then the 2 individuals get out of the Malibu. The only thing I could tell about him is it was 2 large females, and one of them was wearing all black and had white shoes on. I could see that possibly that same female had what looked like a ball on top of her head, and I concluded that maybe her hair was in a bun. You could not see faces, you couldn't see anything else than just their general shape, and I could tell that they were females. This is about 2:16 a.m. is when they arrive at the residence and they go inside.
Just after 4 in the morning, Christopher and the 2 women step outside briefly with his dog Juna. And as Christopher goes back inside, he appears to be intoxicated.
And to me, it looked like he was stumbling at this point, and his movements were exaggerated like I've seen people stumble in the past.
It's over the next 45 minutes that Christopher Dickerson would be killed.
So about 5:08 a.m., I see one female suspect exit the residence. About 5:11 a.m., I see the second female exit the residence. She then walks to the passenger side of the Malibu, gets inside of the vehicle. Both female suspects walk out calmly. They're not running. There's no sign of them being frantic in any way. And then the Malibu leaves Christopher's location.
Detectives would later learn the 2 women drove to a nearby all-night gas station where they filled 2 water bottles with gasoline.
They come back about 5:24 a.m. So they're gone for about 14 minutes. You see a single female suspect exit the passenger side of the Malibu, and she walks up to the house, enters Christopher's residence, and then shuts the door behind her. A couple minutes later, you see a bright flash from the bay window of Christopher's residence. And then about a minute or 2 later, the female suspect exits the residence, shuts the door, gets back into the Malibu, the passenger side, and then the Malibu takes off.
Christopher was lying dead or dying inside as the fire begins to spread through the house and the suspects vanish into the night.
I've worked a number of arson cases and homicides with arsons. Female suspect is one of the rarest ones, and they actually didn't have a category for two female suspects working together to cover up a homicide in this manner. So it was something that I haven't heard of before, and I haven't come across before or since that crime.
And in the first few days of the investigation, detectives still had no solid leads on the two female suspects.
So I hit a wall, to be honest.
Yeah, that first week we chased a lot of rabbits. We didn't have anything to go off of. And honestly, I think for the most part, it went cold.
Until 4 weeks later, when Detective Jerry Burroughs figured out that the suspects had taken Christopher's phone with them after the murder, which he was then able to track.
They end up going by, kind of driving around Greeley for a while. They stop at a house in the 4500 block of First Street Road.
The family home of a woman by the name of Stacy Rodriguez.
Then I pulled up Stacy Rodriguez's, basically her driver's license information, which told me she was 5'4" and 250 pounds. So instantly I'm like, I'm on the right track. I see that on October 23rd, she was contacted by the Greeley Police Department. So I pulled up the body cam footage. I see Stacy.
Who am I being arrested for?
You have warrants.
Really?
So I right away I'm like, this is her. But the person who was with her, Hosanna Varela, her hair was distinctive. It was dark on top, and it was dyed blonde as it went down. And as I start looking at her, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the other suspect.
And Burroughs also learned the two women were regulars at downtown Greeley bars.
Both would kind of use men to buy them drinks when they went to bars because they didn't have a lot of money. They weren't working around this time. I learned that they were in a relationship together. Stacy, I think, was 19 at the time, and I believe Hosanna was 22. At some point, Hosanna was married or common law married to a gentleman, and they had several kids together.
And vehicle registration records showed that Stacy's brother owned a 2011 silver Chevrolet Malibu that matched the car at the scene, right down to its tinted windows and 5-spoke wheel rims.
And I said, this is exactly the same vehicle that was at Christopher's residence that night, and it was at the vehicle that was downtown.
At one point, surveillance cameras and a license plate reader even spotted the silver Malibu actually going back to Christopher's burned-out house.
We had moved the license plate reader in anticipation that somebody might come back to the residence, because that's common in arsons, and stopped very briefly in front of the residence before it leaves again. And this is 13 days after the homicide. So at this point, I know without a doubt that Stacy Rodriguez and Hosanna Varela were the people that were at the residence.
Detectives confronted Stacy and Hosanna as they pulled into a parking lot.
Hosanna?
Yeah.
Hey, Detective Rose, can I chat with you real quick? Would you mind?
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Thanks. Are you okay to talk to me? Is that okay?
I mean, I guess.
Okay. But you don't have to talk to me if you don't want to. Is that okay?
What is it about?
Oh, I just have a question about a case that I'm working.
Oh, okay.
So is that okay if I talk to you? Are you okay with me talking with you?
I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm scared.
She was emotional. I know I've interviewed a lot of people throughout my career, and you can just tell when they know that kind of the jig's up and they know they're caught.
Quick question. So, case I'm working, we're talking to everybody who was at a bar on a night, October 3rd.
Okay.
It would have been a Sunday morning, Saturday night leading into Sunday morning. Yeah. Okay. Were you ever at Cubetta's that night?
October 3rd?
Yeah.
It was on Saturday?
Saturday into Sunday morning.
I think so, yeah.
What's that?
I think I was at
You were? Okay.
I usually go there kind of like a lot, so.
Okay, you go to that bar a lot?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we had planned we would show pictures of Christopher from that night from surveillance footage.
When you were there, did you ever see this guy?
No, he doesn't look familiar.
He doesn't look familiar?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You never saw him? Never saw him at the bar or anything?
Mm-mm.
Okay, the case involves him. That's the case I'm investigating.
Oh, okay.
But you never saw him or anything?
He doesn't look familiar.
Okay.
And she denied knowing who Christopher was. Then we asked her if if she went to an after party at somebody's house.
Did you ever go to anybody's house that night?
No.
You never went to anybody's house?
No.
Okay. Never went to this guy's house?
No.
Okay. Would you have been too intoxicated to remember anything?
I was pretty drunk. I'm usually get like drunk like on the weekend.
How drunk were you?
I have no idea.
Then the other question we asked was, do you know anybody or do you have access to a silver Chevrolet Malibu?
What car were you guys in that night?
Oh, I don't know what car I was in.
Do you guys ever drive a Chevy Malibu?
No, I don't think so.
You've never been in a Chevy
No.
Malibu? Okay. Does anybody you know own a Chevy Malibu?
No. My mom used to own a Chevy Malibu, but she don't have that car
Nobody
anymore.
else owns a Chevy Malibu? Does Stacy own a Chevy Malibu?
I don't think so.
Same thing was going on with Stacy. Detective Hunziker was speaking to Stacy.
So we're working on a case. Do you mind if I talk to you for a couple minutes
Yeah,
about it?
that's
Okay. Does this person look familiar?
No.
Okay. Have you ever seen him before?
No.
Okay. Have you ever been to the Cubetas bar downtown Greeley?
Yeah, a couple times.
Okay. Have you ever seen this person before at the bar there?
No.
Okay. Would there be any reason that you don't remember him because you were too drunk to remember him?
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay. Would you have been too drunk to say that you had been over at that house?
Maybe, I don't know. I don't think I've gone that drunk.
You don't think you've been there? Okay. And is that Hosanna?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you guys friends?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. More than friends?
Hey.
Yes?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Okay. Are you girlfriends?
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't really like announce it.
Do you drive a Malibu?
No, I don't.
You don't? Okay. Have you ever driven a Chevy Malibu?
No.
Okay.
I don't own one. I only know this truck.
But even with their denials about the Chevy Malibu and being at Christopher's house, Detective Burrows thought he had enough circumstantial evidence to charge them both with murder.
Okay. All right, Stacey, will you step out of the car for me? You can grab your phone if you want it. All right. Let's step over here. Okay, turn around. You're under arrest.
For what?
I'll tell you in a second. Go ahead and put your fingers together. There you go. Yeah. Son, turn around for me. You're under arrest. You're under arrest for first-degree murder, arson, burglary, and tampering with the deceased body. Okay? All right, that's what you're being charged with. Stacy's being charged with that as well, too. Stacy, have you been informed of what you're arrested for?
No.
Okay. Being arrested for first-degree murder, arson, burglary, and tampering with the deceased body. Okay?
Is there proof of that?
Yes.
From the moment that Stacy Rodriguez and Hosanna Varela were arrested, detectives hoped that Hosanna might agree to turn on her lover and cut a deal for a reduced sentence.
In Colorado, a first-degree murder charge is life without parole.
I'll listen to your story. I'll always listen to people's story.
Yeah.
Okay? Is that something you'd like to do, is talk to me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Can we talk like
We're going to talk at the station.
Okay.
Okay, away from everybody else.
Okay.
Away from Stacy.
Okay.
Is that something you'd like to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Compared to Stacy, who I could tell, she's never going to tell me anything, ever.
But once in jail, Stacy sent a number of notes to Hosanna, including this one written on a paper towel, telling her not to cooperate.
And it basically says that, the police are going to try to trick you, and that if you haven't seen anything, heard anything, or done anything, basically they can't trick you. Telling Hosanna to keep quiet, and then at the bottom it said to flush the note.
But the pressure was mounting on Hosanna, who, in jail phone calls, had yet to even tell her children where she was.
Mommy, are you at home? No. Are you scared now? Yeah, on vacation. Why? She's hurt. Are you scared? What? Are you doing okay? Yeah. Yeah. Mommy, are you scared? No, Mommy's doing better. I love you, baby.
So 7 months after she's arrested, Hosanna reaches out to the district attorney's office and she says that she wants to come and speak about what happened that night.
All right. So I think, the biggest thing from today is I want to hear your story, okay? And above all, I want to hear the truth, and whatever the truth is, okay?
It was a long proffer. I think it was like 7 hours, but there was a lot that we didn't know that took place.
Most importantly, the still unknown details of what happened inside Christopher's house.
So I started noticing Stacy was serving the shots now. And when she started getting shot, I noticed she was pouring water in ours and only pouring liquor to kids.
And Hosanna said that there was a couple times that Christopher, as she stood up, might have touched or kind of tapped her rear end.
And describe it to me. Was it playful? Was it forceful? Was it? I mean, obviously, it probably felt inappropriate.
Yeah.
I understand that.
I think it was just like he was like, oh, two girls at my house.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Stacy had saw it like once.
Okay.
I think she was doing it when she wasn't like looking, and then and then when Stacy saw it, that's when she like was like mad.
And Hosanna says at one point they're in the kitchen and she sees on the table this file, which ends up being the murder weapon. Hosanna sees it and actually points it out to Stacy.
I remember Stacy up against the wall and him like over her, like kind of like a bear. Yeah. She pushed him off of her, and I think he had fell on the floor, and he got up, and I think she pushed him again, and he was on the couch, and she grabbed a beer bottle and went to smash it like on his head, and then she grabbed another beer bottle and did it again, and he was just dazed. And I do remember him screaming like, "Get out of my house!" And he was like I remember his eyes just being like very fearful, and like he was just very just scared. And I remember just standing kind of in the doorway, and she tells me, she goes, "Go get that thing." And I go to get it, and I realized because she was over him. She had her body on him, her whole body. Then she started killing him. I heard him because he was trying to talk. Because he was trying to say stuff. I heard her. I could hear it sounded like rubber, like bone. Started bleeding again. Her face was glowing.
She was almost radiating, and she was glowing, is what she said, from what Hosanna took as either just excitement or joy from what was taking place.
And she goes, well, we might as well be honored. She goes, this is my first time killing people. This is her fifth time killing someone. And also, I do remember her, her tasting his blood.
What do you mean by that?
She licked her hand. And I remember asking her, did you eat, lick his blood? And she looked at me and she said, why? And I go, I seen. And then she made the comment, she goes, his blood tasted dirty, dirty.
Hosanna agreed to plead guilty and be sentenced to 32 years in prison in exchange for testifying against Stacy and facing a tough cross-examination that would label her as the one who wanted Christopher killed.
Good morning. You're here because what she did. You're going to hear that Christopher Dickerson was burnt beyond recognition. He was burnt so badly that he had to be identified in part by his dental records. But ladies and gentlemen, it's not as it first seems. Chris didn't die of being burnt. He died by being stabbed 5 times.
And the prosecutor told the jury they would hear from Stacy's lover, Hosanna Varela.
She'll talk about seeing Chris bleeding out, describes a death gargle. She'll describe that immediately after, Stacy seemed happy about it. And ladies and gentlemen, you'll hear that was not justifiable, that was not reasonable, that was not necessary. It was vicious, it was violent.
Does the defense wish to present an opening statement at this time?
Stacy's defense lawyer, Jessica Trujillo, told the jury Stacy acted in self-defense against an aggressive Chris Dickerson.
Ms. Rodriguez was 19 years old at a stranger's house under a situation she didn't think. Thought there was going to be more people. Thought it was going to be a party. And it went differently. It turned differently. He did corner her. She had to push him away, and it didn't stop. Think about all of that. Miss Rodriguez, Stacy defended herself. She defended the woman that she loved to try to keep them safe. And that's what she did. She's not guilty of first-degree murder.
Thank you. Deputies, if you'll bring Ms. Varela over to the witness stand.
Hosanna was brought to court in her prison jumpsuit and handcuffs.
We weren't going to dress her up. She's in the Department of Corrections for 32 years, and we're not going to hide that from the jury.
Did you meet an individual by the name of Stacy Rodriguez?
Yeah.
Do you see that individual in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Can you please state where she's sitting and what she's wearing?
She's on the right and she's wearing green.
And then Hosanna described what happened that night when she and Stacy went to the home of Christopher Dickerson.
Had Mr. Dickerson ever sexually assaulted you or the defendant during any encounter of this?
He did slap my butt twice.
And did you take that in a very overtly sexual way?
No. I mean, I was just kind of more scared of Stacy seeing. I was just kind of more nervous, like scared that Stacy was gonna see that and get mad.
Can you describe for the jury then what happened after this in terms of what you saw and what you heard?
At one point, she pushed him on the couch and grabbed a beer bottle and wanted to hit him with it. And I told her, no, like, let's just leave. We could just leave, you know? And she just looked at me and threw the beer bottle. And then she grabbed another one and threw it again on his face. And at this point, she's on top of him, like with her like knees, like using her weight on top of him. And then she tells me, she goes, go get that thing. And so I went and I just grabbed it and I just gave it to her.
By answering the questions that implicate her and her own guilt in the situation, that was a reflection on her telling the truth.
And that's when I started hearing her stab him. And that's when I realized what she was doing. I just remember hearing, like, it sounded like rubber and bone. And so I went back to the living room and I was just standing there and I was just watching his stomach rise and him bleed. And then his stomach just stopped.
That was raw emotion that obviously somebody had eyewitnessed and saw that.
Are you testifying truthfully today?
Yes.
Those are my questions at this time.
All right, thank you. Any cross-examination, please go ahead.
Yes. At this point, you've been in custody for about 7 months, right?
Yes.
And you know that what's at stake here is essentially your ability to watch your children grow.
Yes.
And as a mother, you're going to say and do whatever you can to get home to your kids, right?
Say I'm here to tell the truth, and I owe it to Christopher and his family.
At one point, one of the defense attorneys accused one of Hosanna Varela's family members of calling her a from the courtroom.
The judge called Hosanna's mother and sister up to face him.
And I want to make sure everybody in this courtroom understands, this is not Judge Joe Brown. This is not Judge Judy. This is not a TV show. I am not going to tolerate people just jumping up and talking like this is some reality TV show, okay? If there is disruptions in a first-degree murder trial, and I'm going to be sending some people to jail.
Rather than simply just giving the police a description of what happened, you certainly elaborated, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Your elaboration, ma'am, painted Stacy as essentially pure evil, right?
Right.
And you elaborated that while Stacy had blood on her hands and her nails, she's just glowing, right?
Yeah.
You told this jury yesterday that she just looked refreshed and excited that she had just killed this person, right?
Yes.
Even more horrifying, right? You, again, told Mr. Burrows that after Stacy killed Mr. Dickerson, she, quote, tasted his blood.
Yeah.
Right? So now we're talking some like straight Hannibal Lecter stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah. And it sure makes it helpful for the judge to hear all this when you come back and ask for a reduction in your sentence, right?
Just telling the truth.
Yeah, your truth, which is making her seem like the absolute most evil villain in the world, right? And yourself a victim.
I'm just here to tell the truth.
Yeah. Nothing further. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Now the question was whether Stacy would testify.
I think Stacy kind of had to take the stand to say, no, this is how I saw it.
Ms. Rodriguez, can you tell me what your decision is? Do you choose to testify or do you choose not to testify?
I choose to testify.
And she would tell a much different version of events. The defense case would rely almost entirely on the testimony of Stacy Rodriguez.
So I want you to just kind of tell us how you're feeling sitting up there right now.
I feel nervous.
Nervous? Okay. Are you scared?
Yeah.
Okay. And you heard Miss Varela testify, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. How did it feel to hear her say things against you?
I feel like it was like a lot of emotions. I was like sad, like disappointed at the same time.
Disappointed?
Yeah.
What are you disappointed about?
Because she wasn't telling the truth.
Did you trust her?
Yeah.
You loved her, right?
Yeah.
Stacy testified that after they took a break to let Christopher's dog outside, she and he got in an argument about his manhood.
He said, "What did you say? Are you calling me a?"
How close is he when he's yelling at you?
He's pretty close. Like, I could feel his breath in my face.
What is he looking like when he's in your face?
He's like mad, yelling.
What is he saying?
So you call me a? He keeps like repeating the same thing over.
Stacy testified that it was Hosanna who handed her the rat tail file, the murder weapon, as she and Christopher were struggling on the floor.
Did you ask her to grab it for you?
No, I didn't.
Okay. And did you use that thing on Mr. Dickerson at that point?
Yes, I did.
Did you feel like he could have killed you?
Yes.
Was that going through your mind at the time?
Yeah.
It felt very led. It felt scripted. I think it was very rehearsed.
And as for the fire, Stacy testified that was Hosanna's idea, not hers.
Did you light his house on fire to try to get away with this?
No. I just followed suit because she seemed like she was in control of the situation, like she knew what to do. Like I just had no idea, you know?
She also said that you appeared to her as glowing. Were you happy after this had happened?
No.
Were you excited?
No.
So I would say sorry is kind of the last thing she came across as throughout the entirety of all of this. She never showed like any remorse, but it never felt like she felt any human emotion.
Stacy, did you want to kill Mr. Dickerson that night?
No.
Any cross-examination, please go ahead.
Do you understand why we're here?
Yes.
Objection relevant.
Or overrule the objection.
Do you understand that we're here specifically for your actions of plunging that weapon in his neck?
Yes.
5 times?
Yeah.
You would agree that no one stabbed Mr. Dickerson other than you,
Yes.
right? I mean, Hosanna didn't.
No, I said that.
Okay.
Michael Pereira, when he cross-examined Stacy, he did a great job, and I think he was able to poke holes through her account of why it was justified.
Fair to say you're telling this jury that based on Chris's actions, you had to kill him.
Yes.
And you start stabbing him. To be clear, you're trying to stab him, right?
Yeah.
That's not an accident.
No.
While Chris is gargling on his own blood.
Yeah.
And it's your testimony at that point, the woman who had no part of the homicide,
Yeah.
the woman who simply brought the weapon to Chris, according to you,
Yeah.
she then says, we got to burn this place down.
Yeah.
And you're saying it's Hosanna's idea to do this,
Yes.
even though she doesn't go in.
Yes.
And you're being ordered at that point to go in and burn the place down.
Yeah.
And you just take that order.
Yeah.
Okay? You knew what that was going to do to this body.
Yeah.
You did that.
Yeah.
And then you calmly walked back out to the car. Right?
Yeah.
Those are my questions at this time.
The state may deliver their closing argument at this time.
Christopher Dickerson's life ended tragically, violently, and intentionally at the hands of this defendant, Stacy Rodriguez. Remember, she admitted to the act of killing Christopher Dickerson. She admitted having the mental state of with intent and intentionally of killing Christopher Dickerson. And boy, has this case been about credibility. And frankly, you can certainly look at how bad the defendant testified on the stand. It was scripted, it was rehearsed. This isn't self-defense. This wasn't done in a hasty and impulsive manner. Ladies and gentlemen, this was intentional. This defendant is guilty, and we ask you to return verdicts of the same. Thank you.
Ms. Devereaux, you may begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, every aspect of this case has been the prosecution attempting to distort who and what Stacy is as a person, to dehumanize her and make her into a vicious and violent murderer.
She was stoic, I guess. She didn't really show a lot of emotion. When the jury was out of the room, she was laughing and joking. She almost, it didn't appear that she was fazed or bothered that she was, being on trial for first degree.
But you got to hear her. You got to hear from her. You got to see her. She was a 19-year-old girl who had dropped out of high school as a freshman, 14 years old, to work and take care of her mother. She doesn't even have a GED. She didn't intend for any of this to happen. Why would she? At the end of it, she got up there and she told you all. She told you all that she acted in self-defense, because she did. This is not first-degree murder. It's not second-degree murder. It's just not. Again, let us take things as we find them. Let's not distort. Please find her not guilty of first-degree murder. Thank you.
The jury was out for the rest of the day without reaching a verdict.
Everybody was like, what's taking them so long? Like, how have we not come to a decision on this?
The verdict finally came the next day after more than 5 hours of deliberation.
And I have been informed that the jury has reached a verdict in this case. Is that correct? All right, thank you. Ms. Rodriguez, the verdict of the jury reads as follows. Jury verdict, count 1, murder in the first degree. We, the jury, find the defendant, Stacey Marie Rodriguez.
Chris!
Guilty of murder in the first degree, signed by the foreperson.
And then guilty on the remaining counts of arson, 2 counts of burglary, and tampering with a deceased body.
She just kind of had a smirk, almost like I knew this was going to happen, and didn't really show any outward emotion other than the smirk kind of that she had on her face the entire trial.
I'm Christopher's father, and this time I would like to set the record straight about Christopher and the character of that young man. Christopher was a loving and giving child. He was friendly to all he met. He was an extrovert in nature. He never saw anything bad in the people that he met. Chris did not deserve to die that day when he befriended those 2 young women. I asked for the maximum sentence allowed by law, to not let this person hurt or harm any other person or family. That's what I have to say.
All right, thank you. Ms. Rodriguez, is there anything that you would like to tell me before I impose sentence in this case? You certainly don't have to if you don't want to.
No, thank you.
All right, thank you. Ms. Rodriguez, your actions were horrible. Your decisions were horrible, both in the commission of this act and the choices that you made after this act. It is a struggle for this court to understand how you can go from meeting a person to viciously stabbing them in the neck until they are dead in the course of a few hours. It's one of the most disturbing cases that I think has been before this court since I've had this job. Ms. Rodriguez, as to count 1, the only sentence that the law provides for is life in prison without the possibility of parole. Under the circumstances of this case, that is the only sentence the court legally can provide. It's also the only sentence the court can provide if there is to be any sense of justice out of these proceedings.
She was a very manipulative, controlling, violent individual that doesn't belong in society. Just felt good to finally provide closure, understanding that we can't ever bring Chris back. It's hard to understand why such horrible things happen to such good people, but we did what we had set out to do.